Natalie Gallagher is an educator at heart, and her career has spanned from teaching artists and designers public speaking to teaching TEDx speakers how to give the talks of their lives, to working with clients through nataliecoaches.com. Today, she is going to teach you how to develop the key purpose in your speeches so that you can make meaningful impact with your audiences. Start with the end in mind, Natalie Gallagher.
When I first started teaching public speaking, I like to spend a lot of time on the fun stuff. How to tell a cool story. What to do with your arms while you're up here and you're working the lavalier microphone. It's going to get awkward. How to do a nice closing. How to put a nice quote in your introduction. And those are all meaningful things because they definitely add to your delivery and your message. But I tended to gloss over the most important part of your speech because this is the hardest part to develop. And that's the purpose. As in, why are you here? Les Brown famously says, never tell a story without making a point, and never make a point without telling a story. As in, every time you're up here, there has to be a point. And, just so you know, the point is not to check off something in your company communicator manual. The point is not about yourself. It's about the people in front of you. Whenever we start planning a speech, we always start with the end in mind. At the end of the speech, we want the audience to do, think, or feel something specific based on the value proposition. The value proposition is about what you are able to give to them. So what's the point? The audience will always be asking themselves, what's in it for me? And this is your opportunity as a speaker to bring value to their lives and create an impact. You may be saying to yourself, but I'm new to this. I don't know how to do that. It's not my place. I don't know enough. I don't have anything to offer. You're incorrect, and I'm going to show you why you're incorrect. Everybody has unique experiences that they can share with others. We have unique perspectives, unique ways of looking at things and understanding things. And when you can offer that to someone else, you might be offering them clarity about their own situation, of their own lives, of their own challenges. When Deanna and I were really planning out this workshop, we're talking a lot about the type of speeches that Toastmasters give, or brand new people, or a kind of common speech that even people who are not in Toastmasters give. And one speech came up over and over and over again. The icebreaker. If you're not in Toastmasters, the icebreaker is the very first speech you do, and it's a getting to know you speech. And the icebreaker also gets a bad rap. Let's talk about the icebreaker. The icebreaker frequently devolves into 6 minutes of rambling about yourself. The icebreaker frequently turns into, I was born on February 9th, 1981. Here's everything that happened to me, and now I'm standing here in front of you. What's in it for your audience if you do that? Nothing. Unless you've led an extremely interesting life, but you must be like the most interesting person in the world to get away with that. If that's your icebreaker, you're missing an opportunity to make an impact on the lives of your audience. Instead, what if we focused on a key lesson or revelation you've experienced in your life so that your audience is also enriched by it? What if we focused on something that we could offer to them from our own experiences? Here's what this looks like. By the end of the speech, the audience will know how to identify key moments of their life that reveal their true career passion. This icebreaker could be about your journey to fulfilling doing something that you love. The other day, I heard this staggering statistic. Something like 85% of Americans hate their jobs. Did you say that is true or that's yeah. That's terrible. But what if you're part of the 15% that loves what you do? And what if you could tell a speech, I saw a few people like, what if you could give a speech about how you got to do what you love doing? And what if you framed it in such a way that the audience could understand how they could do that too? Do you think that would be valuable? Do you think they want to hear more of that? You are also fulfilling the icebreaker's purpose of letting your audience get to know you But now you're also setting it up, so you're offering them value, and I'm gonna guess that when you give someone value, do you think they want to get to know you even more? Yeah. How about this one? By the end of the speech, the audience will be inspired to get back up and try again after an important failure. This icebreaker can be all about a time that you failed or a series of failures and you got back up again and you persevered. Raise your hand if you've never failed in your life. Yeah. I can always tell who's not paying attention to class. We all experience failures, and a lot of us find them to be completely demoralizing. It's hard to get back up again. You're embarrassed, you're frustrated, you're scared, you're tired. But what if you walked into your club that night and someone new talked about a time they failed and how they overcame and kept going? Do you think that'd be valuable? Some of you are like, maybe. By the end of the speech, the audience will be motivated to try something that scares them because it leads to valuable growth and development. Oh, I don't know, like giving your icebreaker speech in Toastmasters for the very first time. Many people who join Toastmasters or are thinking about it or have to get on stage are scared. I still get nervous. I've been doing this for 20 years. But what if you gave an icebreaker about how you overcame your fear of heights by going skydiving? Or maybe how you overcame your fear of, what's another common fear? Public speaking. Maybe that's what your icebreaker is about, how you're terrified of this. Here are all the times that fears have affected you, but how you're here now and doing that. You're achieving the purpose of giving a value proposition to your audience while also letting them get to know you better. How about this one? By the end of this training, the audience will be inspired to rewrite and redeliver their icebreaker speech with a clear purpose in mind. You can do the icebreaker over and over and over again. I think it's actually one of the most valuable and underutilized speeches, and a really well-developed icebreaker can actually turn into a contest speech. It can also help you grow and develop as a speaker because instead of doing a lot of external research, you know yourself, right? So this is another opportunity to practice purpose as well as all the fundamentals like what to do with your arms and whatnot. So how do we develop the purpose? How do we get there to something meaningful? This is where it gets tricky. I could teach, and I probably will at some point, an entire class on just this, because it is complex. Until then, I'm going to give you some questions that should guide your planning. The first is, why is it important for others to hear this speech? Too often when we get on stage, the only question we've answered is, why is it important for me to give this speech? What's wrong with that?
It's about me.
It's not about you. I'm asking you to sit here, take time out of your Saturday morning. It can't be about me, it has to be about you. I curate speakers for TEDx Atlanta. This is the only question we ask. Why is it important for others to hear this? If we can't answer that right away, they don't go on stage. It has to be about the value. Number two, if I were in the audience and listened to the speech, what would I want to learn? Every Tuesday, I go to my club, Speakers Roundtable, and I can say without any exaggeration that I've learned something new literally every time I've gone. Some of the things are random trivia, like there's a Buddhist monastery in Mississippi. And there's an immortal jellyfish that just keeps regenerating itself in perpetuity. It'll help you win trivia contests, but it's not necessarily the kind of information that transcends. But I've also learned really big things. I've learned how to negotiate a much bigger payout. I've learned how to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want in order to hit your goals. I've learned how to tell a much better story. And so I always ask myself, if I were listening to the speech, what would I want to learn from the speaker? What is the key takeaway of the speech, and how will my audience know that? This should be answered in one beautiful sentence. If you don't know the answer, you have some more work to do. Because there needs to be something that your audience is walking out the door with. I promise you that they will not remember all 7 minutes of your speech. Maybe they'll remember a highlight reel. What they're going to remember, though, is the main point that you were making, and that's what you want them to walk out the door with. And finally, how will their lives be impacted or changed as a result of hearing this speech? Whenever we go into the rooms, Toastmaster, work, wherever, we don't know what the other people in that room have experienced. We don't know how their day is going. We don't know how their month or their year is going. What if you came in, you gave a speech about overcoming failure on the same day that someone in the audience had just experienced a significant failure? You could be creating a powerful impact, and all you thought you were doing was giving an icebreaker. You could be standing in that room talking about how you've managed health issues, or relationship issues, or career issues, or financial issues, how you solved a problem or achieved a goal, on the exact same day that someone in the audience really needed to hear that message. This is your chance to create an impact on someone else, probably in ways that you don't even realize or understand just yet. But every time you're up here, that's the opportunity that you have. So here's a little format for the key takeaway. By the end of the speech, the audience will feel courageous enough to go skydiving. By the end of the speech, the audience will be inspired to try eating a vegan diet. By the end of the speech, the audience will feel motivated to... What are some of your ideas? Turn to your neighbor. What have you got? Saturday morning, that's what Who's got one more to share? Got one wait?
Quit their job. Quit their full-time job.
Stand up. Say it loud. Who's got one over here?
This is actually Candace, but she didn't want to say it. Quit their full-time job.
Yeah, you hate it? There are other jobs in the world. There's a lot we can do with it. So that's how you develop your key takeaway. It's a simple, clear framework that gives you some guidance. When in doubt, when you're preparing the purpose of your speech, ask for help. Look around. Do you think there are people in this room that know what they're doing? At the very least, we're very good at pretending, right? Whether it's in your club, or in this room, or in the district as a whole, or maybe it's a friend who's not even in Toastmasters, ask for help. In fact, I think that people who are not Toastmasters can give you some of the best feedback because that's your true audience. That's your lay audience. Give your speech to them. If they don't know what the purpose is, that's who you're working towards. Run your purpose by another close friend. Keep testing out, practice, reiterate, do it over and over and over again. It's easy to give a mediocre to bad speech, say, that's it, I'm done with that one, move on. But it's hard to keep redoing it and getting better and better. But what happens when you do that? You get better. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to our MC, Shenandoah.